Let's talk a little trade deadline talk really quick before we get into next week. The
Well,
Giants need to do something. Okay.
before you give your the trade package that's gonna blow everybody's mind,
Okay.
there was a rumor. I don't know if it was this if they said anything about it afterwards or not, but Crochet, he did say that he wants an extension, or John Heyman came out and said, I don't know if it was from Crochet's camp or the player
Hmm.
himself, that he wanted an extension if he was going to pitch in October. He didn't want to stop pitching. He didn't want to go to the bullpen. And yeah, those were kind of like the demands if a
I
trade
like that.
happens. It kind of does that make you pause if you're a team trading for him?
Nah, it makes you want him more, I feel like.
But he's already over his
But he
career
but he has no
innings.
signs of slowing down though. He is still killing it. Like I think it's normal for what Hicks is going through, for example, but that doesn't mean that every starter is going to do it. I mean, if he's not showing signs of slowing down, he can handle it. And he either prepared better or just has more stamina. I don't know. Like you read him to the. You never know when a guy's arm is going to pop. It could be after 7 years of going
Yeah.
200 innings
Or it could
every
be the
single
first
year, or it
or
could
it could
be
be in his debut.
happened. Yeah, or it could happen after 5 years of you babying a guy. It's like there's no evidence saying the more innings you throw, the more likely you're going to have Tommy John. It doesn't exist because it happens with all kinds of dudes. So,
Well, that's not necessarily the worry. The worry would be just him being tired by the time you get to the postseason because he's
but if
never
you
done it.
get,
And there's
yeah,
only
but
so far adrenaline can take you before the body starts to like, yeah, this is enough.
100%. But if you're already starting to get tired, you can Phantom IL him for a couple weeks, let him get his rest, and then you have him for a deep postseason run. That's I mean that's
I mean, I do
but
it,
then again,
but
anyone can get tired at any time. Same thing in 21. That was the whole thing with Max Scherzer, dead arm. So like,
hey, we do not say that name here, man. He's the reason Bueller got hurt. He's the reason we had
yep,
no rotation in 2021.
yep.
Yeah.
And he paid off the
So,
umpires to say that was a check thing from Wilmer, so he fucked
and
us too. Yep, I get it.
and then he went and like sat on the couch until the last game for the World Series in Texas and won it as a participation trophy. So F that guy. Okay? F that
F that
guy.
guy. You can quote me on that. I like that callback. Um, Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I think you want him even more. If I was a Dodger fan, I'd want him even more. Giants don't need any type of starting pitching. If anything, they need to trade some away because what they need to do is they need to go all in or all out. And this middle of the road shit is just hasn't worked the last 3 years. It really hasn't. You need to pick a side, and Giants fans, I think, are smart enough to understand taking a step back for a year and selling off your valuable pieces if you're getting legitimate stuff in return. You can get people excited and you're going to have to go all in because I think you have an influx of pitching and there is an organization who has an influx of bats who needs pitching, and that's the Baltimore Orioles. And what the Giants need to do is they need to call the Baltimore Orioles and say, guys, Saby Sabster, um, I'm going to give you Camilo Doval.
Guys, are you in luck today?
I'm going to give you Camilo Doval, and you can pick any one of my starting pitchers not named Logan Webb. Yes, that means Kyle Harrison or Hayden Birdsong if you want someone for years and, his upside could be up here, or he could just, you have no real track record, but you have him for control for a lot of years. Or, hey, you want an ace level pitcher for a year? You got Blake Snell. That's fine, but you're going to have to give me Jackson Holiday. And the Giants team base is going to be ecstatic that you have a future star. You finally got your future star bat because the Giants have shown they can buy a rotation. They can get rotation help all the time. They cannot get a bat to save their life because guys don't want to hit there. So what do? You trade for a guy who can't tell you no because he's under contract and he's going to have to pack his bags whether he likes it or not. So I'm sorry. I mean, I love Camilo Doval. I believe in him, and I think he still has a lot of trade value. Not enough to get a Jackson Holiday at the moment because he is having a little bit of a down year. But if you add a top a top rotation, Harrison and Birdsong are in the top 100 for prospects. They have a lot of value. Or you want an ace level pitcher because you want to win the World Series right now, you can have Blake Snell. If you have to
Yeah, that's
add
not
an
gonna
extra,
happen.
that's going to happen. That's what
It's
needs to
not.
happen. Something like that needs to happen. I'm sick of waiver wire, week long Giants. They need to make it, even if it's not Jackson Holiday, you want to do it with the Yankees and get Jason Dominguez.
I think
You
you're
need a
aiming
star
way
level
too
bat.
high. I think you're aiming way too high. And first
You
of all, Blake
hold on,
Snell.
time out. 1 second. Give me 1 second. Edwin Diaz, a top closer, got Jared Kelnick. Granted, it didn't work out. I get it, but Jared Kelnick was was like the top prospect at that time.
Okay, but you just said Edwin Diaz was a top closer. Camilo
Yeah.
Duvall has been struggling for a minute, right?
Uh,
So you're not
I
going
don't
to
know.
give in a year that they want to win the World Series. You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
give their best prospect for somebody who's struggling. Then you talk about Blake Snell. My guy didn't even have spring training, barely getting into the flow of things.
Okay. Okay,
So
fine.
if you
Then take
there,
then take take a top prospect who is major league ready and is throwing great. Kyle Harrison or Hayden Birdsong. Take one of them.
I just don't know if that's enough for to pry
Okay.
Jackson Holiday away from them.
Okay. You want to add in another bullpen piece? You want to add in one of our prospects? Fine, do it. But you need a star bat. You need to do whatever it takes to get that high level dude that you could put in that lineup third for the next 5 to 7 years. You need to do what you got to do. Or if you want to be like, hey, we're going to take gambles and sell everyone, then fucking sell them all. Sell
You
everyone
know,
that's not named Logan Webb or Patrick Bailey.
you know who you actually line up well with
Hmm.
is oh no, wait, no. Yeah, the Duvall, right? I'm sorry, I was thinking the Phillies, but yeah, you're right. They need because Kimbrough just blew another one, right?
I'm sorry. You can tell me that he struggled a bit, and I understand that makes his value go down a bit. But to think a 103 flamethrower that's having a little bit of control issues at some time means he doesn't have that much value, you're insane. If you don't think that Camilo Duvall can bring a serious return back, I think you're high.
No. I'm sure he can, but I think they have Kimbrough and Duvall is struggling just like Kimbrough. So then
I
they'd
don't
have
think
two
he
of the
is.
same.
I'm telling you right now, oh, man, I wish I had the power to look this up. When he's in save situations, he's very if you take out the non-competitive because when he's in a non-competitive situation, the dude gives up like 5 or 6 runs. Like you take him out of those situations, and not only that, if he's that honed in on a legit um, wanting to be locked in and serious baseball, he might not feel that way being in a Giants uniform right now, being 6 games under 500. I don't know. I think a lot of teams take that bet as well as a reliable starting pitcher, which is going to bring a lot. It's a seller's market. I'm sorry. I think the Giants front office is like, oh, we can't do that, but just fucking do it, Farhan. Get a legitimate bat.
I don't even think it's your front office that's going to say no. I think it's the Orioles.
I understand what you're saying. I'm saying you're wrong. I'm
They
saying
got
you
to
are
get a
high.
bona fide like
Yeah.
If it was Scuball, I think they do it. Maybe 1 for 1, maybe they even do that. Who knows? But I don't know if Blake Snell, 30-something-year-old Blake Snell and Camilo Duvall, I don't know. I mean, I know Duvall is great,
A
but he's good, but
legit closer. And if you want years and you want upside, Kyle Harrison. If you want years and upside, Hayden Birdsong. These are highly touted prospects. These guys aren't not in the 100. They're about to graduate, prospect list because they've been in the major leagues, but they still have all their years of control.
I mean, to
And
me,
they're legit. And here's another thing too: they are proven that they can pitch in baseball. Right now, at this moment, Jackson Holiday has not proven he can play Major League Baseball.
that's
Now
exactly.
he's 20. He's
Yeah.
20, and he has the biggest. I understand his value. His value is through the roof. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you're right. Maybe I am crazy. Maybe they need to add somebody else. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I feel like in a seller's market, a legitimate starter that you can put in your rotation plus a legitimate closer is enough for your top prospect. Not even just them, but they all have years of control left. Camilo Duvall is at least another 3 years of control after this year. Um,
How
Hayden
much is he
Birdsong,
owed? How
he's
much is his?
Hayden Birdsong hasn't even qualified. Like he came in after this year. This year is technically not even on his service time. Next year will be his first year of service time. This is Kyle Harrison's first year of service time. So
My only thing I would say the same thing. Like, as much as you want to hug prospects, like you don't know what they are. They're
Right.
suspect until proven otherwise.
Right.
But I personally, I don't know if I'm because the start of the closer Duvall, I'm enticed by that. I know that he might be able to get right and he whatever, but I don't
How are
know
you
if
not enticed by anyone in this road? This is, I'm sorry, the
I don't
way
know if I'm
Blake
doing
Snell
that for
threw and
Snell, man.
Robbie
I
Ray
could just
threw,
get him next year.
but what? You
I mean,
don't think
if he
Reynolds
pitches
exactly?
well,
Then cool.
if he pitches well, I could get him next year.
Then my thing is, if you want someone that's ace level right this second, then yeah, you can have Blake Snell, and we can
Because
even
that's
add
another
somebody else.
wrinkle. He can opt out.
But then fuck Blake Snell. Don't put Blake Snell in. I'll give you Hayden Birdsong or Kyle Harrison.
Yeah, but then see, that doesn't do it for me because I need a frontline starter. If you're the Orioles, you need a frontline starter. You don't need a prospect that's going to get better, later on. They need him now.
Okay. I'm sorry. 12
That's why
strikeouts
Screwball
against.
makes so much sense.
Hold on.
Screwball
12 strikeouts, a shutout ball. I understand it's the Rockies, but it's also at Coors Field. That does nothing for you.
but you're
This
not
is a
going to
legitimate
compare. You're
prospect.
not going to compare Harrison to Screwball. I'm sorry. There's
No,
just
no.
way.
I don't. No. You're misunderstanding me. I'm not saying that they're the same, but what I am saying is that he has an immense amount of value because he has proven that he's already proven that he can be in baseball right now and be very valuable. And two, the years of control is all of them. He hasn't even started. Technically, he hasn't even started his service time yet because of that 2-week period at the beginning of the season. He passed way past that. So I'm sorry, in that right, with how many years of control, I don't think trade value he's more than Screwball, but I think it's closer than you think because he has more years of both of them have more years of control, where Screwball is only 2 years after this year.
I see that as an off-season trade, though. I think they need someone in the now. Right? I don't think they do that.
I don't know.
The race.
Hayden Birdsong looks very good. I mean, and the thing is, I just don't think Robbie Ray has that much trade value just because. He had one great start. He's only just got there, and he's 33 and has 2 more years after this year on his deal with that age. I mean, trust me, if you want Robbie Ray, if that's the guy you want, like I said, any starter that's not named Logan Webb. And just Logan Webb, just because he's the face of the franchise, you can't. That's like the one guy you can't let go. But I'm sorry. Yeah, if they want Robbie Ray, they're back.
I think you're right because you do have to decide one way or another. I remember last year, the Angels. They're like, you know what? Do we trade Ohtani? Do we not? Do we go for it? And they're like, fuck it, let's go for it. It didn't work out. And then it set them back because this year they got nothing for Ohtani. Right. All those guys that they traded for are not there, and they're still under 500 team. They're not going to make the playoffs. So you run the risk of when you go for it for marginal upgrades that you're not going to get anywhere.
And here's the thing: there's also an argument that the Giants rotation looks so good that you just hold and you see how the chips lie, and that's technically still going all in. That's also bullshit. If you're going to stand pat, you need to get a legitimate bat in that lineup, whether it be a rental piece. You need to put someone in that lineup, and I'm sorry, you need to somehow get rid of Conforto. I know you're going to have to eat a lot of money. You might have to attach a prospect and eat some money, but you need to get rid of Conforto so he opens up those at-bats in left field, and you need to trade for like a Brent Rooker. I understand he's going to cost a lot, but if you're going to go in, go the fuck in. None of this mid-level shit. Do one or the other. Go big or go home because this mid-level shit hasn't done anything for you the last 3 years. That's all.
And I know there's nothing in the league to. We're just talking. We're not even. We're not saying.
No, we are. But I am a fly on the wall in Farhan's office. He's had these conversations with the Orioles. This is happening
because Mason Miller got hurt.
Yeah,
right. He broke his pinky on his. So if you bring in Duvall into the conversation that he's available, he becomes instantly the number one target in relief, I think.
Okay, you just made my point for me.
I don't know if you guys are going to do that because
you should.
You're waving the white flag.
You're not though, because here's the thing: if you say you're not waving the white flag, if you trade a starter,
who's your closer after that?
Ryan Walker.
That's your best. That's like what Evan Phillips is kind of to us. Like he can be in any situation and he puts out the fire. So he's not
100%. This team is better with Camilo Duvall in it, but at the same time, when you don't want to give up all, not only do you not want to give up your prospects if that's the thing, you don't even have that high level of prospects to give up that would give you a decent return. You got to trade from your strength, which is your bullpen and your starting pitching, to add to your glaring weakness, which is your lineup. So if you got to do something dramatic. And I'm sorry, if Camilo Duvall has to go to get a legitimate bat in that lineup, that's what you got to do. Stop being such a bitch and just do it, Farhan.
And as a Dodger fan, like, we're not so worried about making the playoffs, but watching it, you just have to get in, man. Like,
Yeah.
if the Giants just get in, if whoever it is, they have as much of a chance as anybody else. We've seen it last year. So,
Like I said earlier, we said this every year. The Giants always have three great starters that it's like, won a 3-game series. Who wants to see Blake Snell,
man,
Logan Webb, and Robbie Ray? You don't want
I had to see Lance Lynn and, you know, whoever they can muster up in a series. So I'm just telling you,
right.
if you get in, you can do some damage.
100%.
So all that, Matt. That's the thing with this wild card, the extra wild card. Everybody thinks they have a chance, so there's less pieces to be traded for the
100%.
most part.